I'm really excited to be here today and talk about what is a pretty simple question. What if more people were happy? I asked this question because I saw what a profound effect choosing happiness in my own life had, not only in creating a new reality for myself, but creating a new reality for all the students and families that I serve. Choosing happiness had value in my community. I want to take you back to explain how this happened to my previous life, my life before, when I taught in public schools and private schools. That was a life where I complained about my job, where I watched a lot of people complain about their jobs. I watched a lot of people unhappy. I watched kids unhappy. I was confused because what I felt was happening in schools was that we were holding sacred compliance and obedience. And I saw kids valuing themselves as, oh, a good child does what they're told to do, and bad children do not do that. And I felt like we were missing the point. John Lennon, in the next slide, talks about this, and this really hits home for me. What do we actually want for our kids? I was thinking that I'd rather have self-actualization be honored in schools and help kids develop a sense of meaning and purpose in life. So after 6 years, I walked away. I said, if this is what education is, I will not be a part of it. But in my 20s, my whole definition of my being was I'm an educator. So where did that leave me? Depressed, utterly and completely depressed. I didn't know who I was anymore. So after 3 months, maybe 4 months of just really soaking up that, I said, well, what can I do? I don't want to live like this. I made a choice, and that choice was to think about what drives me, like what brings me energy. I wanted to start a school. I wanted to teach again, but on my terms. So I said, I'll figure this out. What can I do today to make this happen? I have the internet. I can read books. I can research what other alternatives are out there and get started. I found a really cool organization called the Alternative Education Resource Organization. They had this online school starters course, and I took that at night while I worked a full-time job. I read and read and read, and I started asking parents. I started interviewing parents. What do you want for your children when they are adults? And I heard a lot of great things that were aligned with what I believed. The sense of purpose, meaning in life. Parents wanted their kids to be self-actualized, and they wanted their kids to be happy. So one thing I actually never heard, and I want to say this because it just drives the point home, no parent ever told me, gosh, Nancy, when my kid grows up, I just want them to do what other people tell them to do without question. So nobody wants to value compliance and obedience. And I found myself 6 months after I left education as I knew it, starting my own LLC, a homeschool enrichment center for just a few families. And these were some of the families that I was interviewing. I was learning. As I was learning, I was creating. I'm a very hands-on learning. I want to learn how to start a school. Well, the best way, start a school. Start something. So I got started. During that time, I found Logan's talk. You may have seen this. It has gone viral this past year. It's been recently recirculated. But Logan, 13-year-old Logan, does a TEDx talk, and he says in his talk, people ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And Logan goes, I want to be happy. Simple as that. But then Logan does more than that. He decides to study and research happiness. And he finds that this is something that you have to actually actively practice. Happiness is a practice to cultivate in your life. And this had me thinking two different things. Number one, I was thinking, well, what if in the school I create, I actually cultivate happiness? I teach kids this practice of positive psychology. And number two, I'm realizing that as Logan is happy hack schooling that he states, he's actually creating shareable value in the world. When we are happy, and what I was finding is a parallel, when I am happy, what I do brings value to others. So why aren't we actually cultivating this in schools? I have to stop here for a minute because I want to actually explain what I mean by happiness. I'm not talking about that glass of wine you have at the end of the day after a long, hard day's work. While I love doing that, and maybe too much, I think that is a source of great fun in my life. What I'm actually talking about is Mihai Csikszentmihalyi's state of flow. Csikszentmihalyi is the world's leading researcher on positive psychology. And he says the happiest people spend much time in a state of flow, the state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. The experience itself is so enjoyable that people will do it even at great cost for the sheer sake of doing it. What I found was that I lived my life in a state of flow. I woke up and spent most of my day in this state of flow. And what did flow do for me? It drew parents in. People were drawn to me. They wanted a part of it. The parents wanted my life for their children. I was creating shareable value in a community, and I was willing to do really hard work. The biggest question I always get, how do you just start a school? I don't know. I was 30 at the time just trying to figure it out. But you know what? You can figure anything out if what you're doing means that much to you. You can figure out bookkeeping, accounting, legal documents, setting up all the inspections to actually get this school to be recognized by the state. I did it because it meant something to me, because I was in touch with my flow. So I was happy. Last August, I opened a school for 12 students, and I didn't really know what I was doing. It was a little messy in the fall until I continued. I'm still learning every single day. I found this incredible model in Manhattan called the Agile Learning Center, and I realized that I could now have a system to create flow for my kids. What we do is we take best practices in businesses. We look at healthy business cultures that promote a sense of creativity, innovation, that have collaborative systems of learning. And this can happen in schools as well. So I implemented this, and now I get to go to a job every single day where I get to see kids totally engaged in science projects, excited to learn in their flow. I get to see kids playing chess in the zone as they try to figure out their next chess move. I get to watch girls start their own girl band and spend hours writing music and composing and practicing. And I think, what if more kids grew up like this? What if more people spent their time in their flow? Would they be focused on hurting others? Would they be coveting things that they don't have? Would they be focused on what they don't have? I don't think so. I think that they would be creating more shareable value everywhere they go that would have a ripple effect of change. And I just want to share this call to action. If you are not happy with your reality right now, what can you do about it? Peter Drucker says this wonderfully. The best way to predict your future is to create it. So what do you want to create? Thank you.